You have Tinubu, who has won a disputed election. The matter is in court, it has not been finished. West African leaders meet and make him their chairman. And they say that they are committed to democracy. These crazy leaders we have in West Africa. They go and make Tinubu, they are not even patient enough to wait for the outcome of the petition before the court. They go and make him their chairman. And then they turn around and tell us that, oh, as for them, they love democracy. What kind of democracy do they love? In any case, who is going to benefit from military intervention in Niger? It's the West. If you take France, 1 out of every 3 light bulbs is powered by uranium from Niger. 1 out of every 3 light bulbs is powered by uranium from Niger. And yet, Niger is one of the poorest countries in the world. And our leaders are not thinking about this paradox. You understand? What they care about is going to install one of their colleagues who messed up so much. You understand? That's what they care about. If you take all of the French-speaking African states, all of them keep their foreign reserves in the Central Bank of France. The consequence is that these African countries borrow their own money and pay interest on their own money that they have borrowed. And West African leaders are not sensible enough to realize that the way out of this is to have a common currency for West Africa, which enables these French-speaking countries to break away from French neocolonialism. They are not even sensible to realize that that is the key to solving many of the economic problems which confront us in the sub-region. They can't see that. We've been talking about a West African currency for how long? What have they done in order to promote that? And then they go and sit somewhere in Abuja and they decide that they are going to send soldiers. Whose children should go and die? To install a useless president. Whose children should go and die? You think that the soldiers, they are just there to die for any useless cause? They are not. They should try it. They should try it and send soldiers there. When the soldiers get killed, they will see the repercussions in their own countries. It has happened many times, the ripple effect. Why? All of these West African leaders who are meeting to make these declarations and so on, how many of them enjoy the popularity that these cool leaders enjoy? This young guy who recently returned from the Russia-Africa summit, you saw how the whole country mobilized to go and meet him at the airport. Let any of these West African leaders, Tinubu, Alassane Ouattara, and so on, try to mobilize people to show support and see how many people will turn up. When ECOWAS sent a delegation to Mali to go and persuade the Malians to hand over, did they see the hundreds of thousands of people who poured out into the street in support of their regimes? Did they see it? How many of these West African leaders enjoy 10% of the popularity that these cool leaders enjoy? That must teach them a lesson. In any case, what is this democracy we are supposed to be protecting? What is this democracy we are supposed to be protecting? Who doesn't know that in West Africa, elections do not reflect the will of the people? Elections have become a joke. Vote buying is rampant. The use of violence in order to win elections is overwhelming. The things we do in West Africa, are these the democratic elections? They should stop wasting our time. What we do in West Africa is that the last election, how many people died? Nobody has even bothered to investigate how those people died. And they call this democracy. Ayawasu West Wogon. I met the victims of the Ayawasu West Wogon. Some have lost their legs. Some have lost their eyes. Some have been disabled for life. Not one person has been punished for what happened in the Ayawasu West Wogon. And then you turn around and say, we are running a democracy. What democracy? My brother, democracy, whatever it means, must deliver what the people want. If it doesn't deliver what the people want, forget it. It is not democracy. Democracy, if you practice it, must lead to improving the people's access to social services, education, health, housing, employment, and so on. Which West African country is doing that? Democracy is about doing the will of the people. Which West African country is doing the will of the people? And then the joke of it all, a statement which has been issued by government that as for Ghanaian soldiers, they don't like coups because they are professionals. What is that? Ghanaian soldiers took an oath to protect the constitution. What we are doing here and there, what is constitutional about it? In any case, only recently, there is this tape recording which has been released, which nobody denies its authenticity, in which senior security personnel were discussing how to facilitate the rigging of the next elections. What is a coup d'etat? A coup d'etat is when you conspire to prevent the people, their votes from counting. That's a coup d'etat. It doesn't have to be soldiers tooting guns and so on. Some people are currently on trial for apparently discussing belonging to social media platforms and where certain discussions took place. Our attitude to this leaked tape shows us very clearly that, in fact, we are happy with some coup d'etats. We are very happy with some coup d'etats. Because what were they discussing? That if you have a certain person there as IGP, the shenanigans which would enable them to break the 8 and so on will become possible. If you have somebody else, what is that? Is that not a coup d'etat? They should stop wasting our years. And you see, perhaps I have the advantage of age. I've seen all the coup d'etats from 1966 till now. I saw it. I lived through it. I can speak about the 1972 coup. Security officials were saying that a coup d'etat was not possible. It happened. The soldiers did not even fire one shot. The Buzia government was kicked out of office. 1979, you had the likes of Chris Asher going around the country carrying weapons and saying that they were ready to fight coup d'etats. When the soldiers struck, all of them ran away. There was nobody there to defend it. They all ran away. I've seen it before. 1981, how many people were not thumping their chest and creating the impression that they will fight coup d'etats? When Jerry Rawlings and a small band of soldiers struck, all of them ran away. They should stop wasting our time with this thing about going to resist and so. Resist what? Who is going to resist what? I have seen the consequences of coup d'etats. I've seen innocent women, our mothers, our sisters, stripped naked on the streets. I've seen their private parts being whipped. I saw it. Why? In early 1982, I was under detention in the military barracks. I saw what happened. Nana Okutu-Ebekwei, who was the national chairman of the PMP, I was in the same cell with him. Okay? His son was brought into the same cell. He was forbidden to talk to his son. He was told that if he ever spoke to his son, with whom he was in the same cell, he would be severely punished. They dug a trench, put Nana Okutu-Ebekwei in the trench, and started firing above his head. I saw it. I saw soldiers come to the Gonda Barracks guard room and tell some of the inmates that they were coming for them at midnight. At midnight, we heard the armored vehicles roll in and take these people that had been, selected in the afternoon. In 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you heard the gun reports from Air Force Station. They were being executed without trial, without charge. 246 Ghanaians got missing. Missing persons. 246 Ghanaians got missing. We sent a petition to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to investigate, and they said that it would open the floodgates. Floodgates of what? So I've seen all of this. My own classmate, Lieutenant Tete, had gone out, to jog, and he was on his way back home. They just shot him. Why did they shoot him? Because he was in a tracksuit. And tracksuits were presumed to be the uniforms of dissidents. He was shot dead. My own friend Kwame Ajima was shot dead at the border guards headquarters. For what? For protesting against IMF measures and so on. So look, we have seen all of this before, and we would all have wished that we never return to this mayhem. never return to the era of coup d'etats. All of us are not happy about coup d'etats. But you see, sometimes you ask yourself, what is the difference between a coup d'etat and what we have in West Africa now? The 9 people who lost their lives during the last elections, it was supposed to be in a civilian democratic order. They lost their lives. Loss of life, whether it's under a coup d'etat or in the civilian regime, is the same. Look at Daya. You understand what I'm saying? Huh? The people who were molested, who were shot and so on, as Ayawasu West were gone. Doesn't matter to them whether what happened to them, the atrocities committed against them, happened under coup regimes or under civilian regimes. It doesn't matter to them. The economic condition is driving people crazy. The last time I bought a ball of kenke, it is 5 cedis. A ball of kenke like this is 5 cedis. Imagine a family of 3 children, man and wife plus their 3 children. In the morning, if they elect to eat kenke, which is not one of the exotic dishes that people eat and so on, for the kenke alone, pepper hasn't come, tomatoes hasn't come, onions hasn't come, fish hasn't come. 25 cedis. Morning. What about afternoon? What about evening? What about water? The water they drink. How do they pay for their electricity bills? How do they pay for transportation to work? And you will be amazed. There are so many people whose monthly salary is not up to 300 cedis in our country. And then you sit there and you make noises about protecting democracy. Whose democracy? Whose democracy are you protecting? The democracy of the masses? Or the democracy of the very, very few, the tiny few, who have managed to take us hostage through fraudulent elections? Is that what they're talking about? Look, these West African leaders must understand in clear terms that any attempt to wage war on Niger will be resisted by the masses of West Africa. It will be resisted by the masses of West Africa. Already there are indications. Burkina, Guinea, and Mali have said that any attack on Niger will be considered as an attack on them, an aggression against them, and they're going to fight. You see, these West African leaders, I think their thinking capacity is too small. Listen, you have Wagner in Burkina Faso, you have Wagner in Guinea, you have Wagner in Mali, okay? The last time I checked, Wagner was also moving into Niger. You're going to wage war against these countries. You're going to confront Wagner. Are you going to break back? Huh? Are you going to stage a scenario for Ukraine war in West Africa? Are you mad? Are these leaders crazy? I can't believe it. In any case, where is their capacity to wage war? They are doing all this in the false belief that because it is in the Western interest to fight the new regime in Niger, they are going to get support from the West, from France and others, to fight the new regime. That is their crazy idea. All these West African leaders have been sitting down, they have been complicit in the establishment of foreign military bases throughout West Africa. One of the reasons why Niger is so strategic to the West is that the US, its largest drone base in the world, is in Niger. Its largest drone base. West African leaders didn't see anything wrong with this. Why would the US army establish a drone base in a country? For what purpose? The drone base was established to produce chocolates, or to produce cotton. Certainly for war. They didn't care about it. They allowed the United States of America to establish the largest drone base in the world in Niger. Unbelievable. The Ghana government is also part of this so-called attempt to go and wage war. You have allowed the US to establish a military base in your country. You understand? Now, US soldiers in Ghana have more privileges than privileges prescribed by the Geneva Convention for diplomats. Your sovereignty is completely abused. The French have military bases everywhere and so on. We are not thinking about expelling these military bases from our soil, but we want to go and fight an African government, overthrow it, so that the French can continue to have access to uranium, to power their country and so on. These West African leaders, I don't know how to describe them. I mean, to call them reckless is an understatement. They are actually crazy. They should start the war and see what will happen in the region.
A troop to Niger to go defend democracy.
No. Forget about that Niger. I cannot leave my own family there, go Niger, go they fight for anybody. No.
So Nigeria should face Boko Haram before they go face.
Yes, that's number one.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
This unit is set up to defend them and to protect them only, nobody else. What is more coup d'etat than your national constitution gives you 2-term limit, 5 years, 2 terms. After serving 10 years, you want to change the constitution for another term. Is that not a coup d'etat? Because you feel you have the powers to do that. The soldiers have the powers to coup d'etat. That is also another coup d'etat. And they are living with them there. They are there. In the name of civilian, putting on mufti clothes, calling yourself a Democrat, when you loot all the resources of your country, mislead people, torture them, imprison them, burn their businesses to us, and you call that a democracy? Or a civilian rule, an illegally elected government? The leaders must stop lying to their electorate first. They must stop the corruption. They must stop looting our resources. They must understand that they are not a better citizen than anybody. They are given a responsibility, a role to play to help develop the countries and make sure that there is peace and tranquility and respect the constitution of the country. But this is not happening. Example is this government. This government has lied to people in 2016 that they are going only for 3 years. Was that not a lie? Who asked them to tell people that we are going for 3 years? Were they forced to say that? They went around the whole country, lied to everyone. When the people started reminding them, this is what you promised us, they threw tear gas on them. And the president is bragging, yes, when I threw tear gas in them, they never came back. Does that not anger the citizens? You throw tear gas on your people. Some of them are wounded and you stand out there and bragging that I throw them a tear gas. They never come back. That alone can anger the citizens. You promised the people you will have a security sector reform. It's never happening. The civil service sector reform is never happening. The Jani Commission was violated before the end of the Commission. When you take all the assets of the former president, and now you are busy buying assets, your days are coming. I thought they should have learned, or they could have learned from this. Unfortunately, they are not learning. So before you create a unit to go against any attempt of coup d'etat, put your house in order. Stop lying to your electorate. Stop lying to your citizens. Stop looting the resources of your country. Stop corruption in your country. And then you can talk about anti-coup d'etat. When Alpha Conde was killing his people in Guinea, after serving 10 years, he said it was not enough. I want to serve another term. During the process, so many Guineans were killed. And I did not hear any ECOWAS going there or condemning him. You know why? Because Guinea was too big for them, or Alpha was dancing to their tune. Because I think that was why the small Gambia was surrounded all sides by soldiers and guns in 2016. Because Gambia was small, or Gambia is a small country, and Jammeh was not dancing to their tune. After the presidential election in Guinea, more than 300 Guineans were butchered, killed. No ECOWAS condemned him. No African Union condemned him. Instead, they pick up their phones and say, Monsieur le Président, félicitations, congratulations. That is the fair game that is happening in Africa. They can condemn Mali, they can condemn Guinea, they are soldiers. But the one in Chad, who is being
Facing Nigeria.
We have hunger, number one for hunger. We have insecurity. We have failed elections. Bad government, bad leaders.
Which advice will give Tinubu now, the ECOWAS chairman, sending troops to Niger to defend? Because a lot of Nigerians say they don't want Nigeria or ECOWAS to interfere in they're okay and they are happy with what transpired in their country, removing, the initial president. Now they are happy with the military government. What's your reaction?
Just like we are struggling with this one here now. For if they are not, what is happening there will happen here times 10 because our own is on our neck. It's up to this place.
So you go happy now if they come out Jagaba, military come out?
No, I won't be happy they will remove. I don't even want military, but they should do what is right.
But we've seen Burkina Faso, we've seen Gambia, we've seen Mali, we just witnessed Niger right now. And they are young leaders, and their country are happy with what happened because they have been exploited by France, like they said. So Nigerians are clamoring that they also want military, that democracy is not favoring us. Most of the infrastructure we have, the stadium, the roads, the hospital, have been built by the military. Don't you think military is better to this democracy will say we are?
If the military will come in and make sure fuel is 160 naira or 200, we'll manage it and build our refinery and make sure we are happy. They should come back.
They should come back. All right.
But not old ones, so young, new militaries. Not those old ones.
All right, thank you.
To stay in Nigeria is like somebody who's living in dungeon. Yes, and I won't say much because even the world know what I'm saying. That Nigeria now represent evil. Yes.
Are you saying this administration you're not pleased with the policies made?
The issue is that we don't even have a government for now because we decided to announce a man whom the people did not give a mandate. Yes.
So Tinubu is not your president?
It's not. I say it open, plain. I'm not afraid of anybody. I say nothing but the truth. Yes, and I didn't vote for him, and Nigerians in general did not vote for him. We know a man we voted for.
We are getting reactions this morning from Nigerians that what transpired in Niger, they said Tinubu should also be removed from the government by the military. Do you support the motion, sir?
Yes, I support a junta. I support the military junta to take place in Nigeria because if the people cannot do what is necessary, the military should come over and take over.
You should remove Tinubu?
Yes.
What's your reaction to sending troops to fight Nigerian troops in ECOWAS to defend democracy in Niger?
Listen, first of all, that Niger did the right thing by removing the man. I thank the military in Niger. They did the right thing. So Nigeria should not go there and begin to interfere to stop something that is good.
So you are calling on Nigerian army now?
Yes, let them come back.
And take Nigeria.
Yeah, let them come back and do the same thing in Nigeria and deliver their people as well from dungeon. So on the side of the Niger Republic, kudos for them. Yes.
God bless you.
Yes.
You have never fight the war in your house. You are going to another country to come and fight the war. We have so many wars here. We have so many security challenges here. We have Fulani herdsmen, bandits, terrorists. They are here killing every day in a Benue state. Every blessed day people are dying. You cannot stop that. You are going to Niger. The military have taken over because of what is happening. Even here, if military can take over here, I'm telling the military they can take over the government because If you watch what is happening before we have this democracy, all the infrastructures, all the bridge, all so many refineries and other things built by the military. But since we have this democracy, I don't see anything that we have achieved. Only this Niger bridge they built at Anambra. Our federal road has spoiled. This during the time of military, that's the time they built all this federal road and everything. So everything has spoiled in this country.
So you determine that say Tinubu is an illegitimate president, made a come out and by tribunal or by military taking the position.
Number one, Tinubu was put in by an ex-chairman, that's Mr. What's his name, Mahmoud. Everybody knows what's happened. Tinubu is not particularly is not my president. I did not vote for him. I know that some people vote for him, but majority of Nigeria vote for P2B, Labour Party. So we are waiting them for courts. If the judges did not do the normal thing, that means everybody is going to come out for the road for protest, heavy protest.
All right, sir, share your experience. How does it feel right now to live in Nigeria?
My brother, to live in this country is just, even this Niger, that even fighting whether a war or the queue, Sudan is better than Nigeria. How can you be buying a fuel now? Almost, look at the road, no motor. Even my own motor. How much is some people's salary? Some people are earning salary 70,000. If you have a car, before the ending of the month, you have bought a fuel almost 100 and something thousand. And this our wicked Yahoo politicians does not even, they don't want to know what is going on.
Our politicians are Yahoo.
They are catching all these small boys, they are looting. They are looting the citizen. The citizen of Nigeria, they are the Yahoo. They are the main Yahoo boss who have. All these are our politicians.